Hello, everybody, and welcome to the other side of the firewall, where Monday and Tuesday are our topics, Wednesdays our discussion, Thursdays the Ask a CISP, and Friday is everything else, movies, books, and games, and things that are generally not cybersecurity related, right? So once again, Ryan is not here. I'm sorry to disappoint you all. You just got the three of us, right? So I don't know. Maybe we're going to do a takeover. Don't tell Ryan, we're going to do a takeover. Don't play anything small, but with me today is Daniel Acevedo.
What's going on, guys?
And Chris Abacar.
What's going on, everybody?
All right, everybody, let's get to it. All right. So this next article, if you watched the previous one from Monday, where we're talking about the Android malware Necro infecting 11 million devices, we kind of had a mention in there about what we're going to talk about on this one, right? So this article is from darkreading.com. It's written by Christina Beek. The article is titled, Kaspersky rolls back for U.S. customers, makes way for Ultra AV. What started happening was we actually talked about this on the show. It was a couple months ago, actually, or maybe a few months ago, over the summer. We're talking about Kaspersky not having any more operations in the United States, right? So they were actually notifying people that they were, going to get out of the game and, you're still going to have protection through a different company or whatever. But what they didn't tell people was that they were going to have their product taken off and then this other one put on, right? Which, if you're in cybersecurity, that's never a good thing, right? So you see that one day you have something that you didn't install in your system, you start going into panic mode. You start running down your mental checklist or your actual checklist that you have. Like, where did this come from, right? Especially if it's one of these emails you get to where you're just like, I don't deal with Kaspersky anymore, right? Because you've probably gone a different direction, right? You've gone to a different antivirus or whatever the situation may be. So you're like, I already have something else. I don't have to worry about them anymore. Well, all of a sudden you got this other Ultra AV that shows up on your system and you're like, whoa, that kind of puts a pause to you. And that's kind of what they're talking about here. Some people that were still using it were very surprised by this, but Kaspersky's like, hey, we warned you. We let you know there was going to be changes, right? Like they were shutting down the U.S. operations. They laid off the U.S. based employees, right? And this was back in June, so it actually mentions it in the articles. June, they were added to the entity list, and that's when they were like, all right, we're not going to get in this game, right? And even then, the U.S.-based employees that they had to lay off, I think it was only like 50 people or something like that when we did the article. It was not a large presence that they had, right? But this ban got introduced back in June, so they knew they were getting out of the game, and they did let people know. But again, you can't really do this to people. Yes, I applaud them for trying to do something and making it. Their stance on this is that we were making it easier for people to have some type of protection, and we weren't leaving them in the lurch, right? So they had to go and search and do something, find something different. You know what I mean? So we provided it with Ultra AV, which actually with Ultra AV, they've actually been running with Kaspersky for a minute now, right? Like they've already been providing some of the services that Kaspersky was using already. So it's not like they're new to the company or they were a new partner that got on board. So I don't know if that should worry you as well. Like if Kaspersky was put on the list, why are these people that are allies? Why are they not on the list too? What are we doing with Pango here? You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, this is one of those things where you got to be careful how you implement this. And again, even though Kaspersky says they did a good job of notifying, you have to realize that there are people out there that just are not paying attention to emails. Like I know my wife has thousands and thousands of emails that are just unread. Like if I'm looking at something with her, I'm like, why do you have so many unread emails? Like if you know it's junk, like filter it as such, right, to where it goes to your junk mail, or do something with it. You know what I mean? That's just too many. I can't stand to do that, right? Like when I get behind at work, like even now at work, like I'm behind a little bit because I had a class a couple weeks ago, and I'm just like, I don't like seeing this many emails in my inbox. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I try to run through them, and I try to, like, sometimes I just sort them by who they come from. And I'm like, all right, I know that's nothing. You know what I mean? I have a box for that. I can look at it later. You know what I mean? Like, just you got to get through it. But they probably should have done a better job of advertising this, right? Like somebody should have been out there. I don't know whether it would have been the news or whatever, saying, hey, this is what's coming. Because again, it alarmed people. I know it would have alarmed us at least, right? Like being in the IT and cybersecurity world. Like nobody wants to see that. But it is what it is. I mean, they rolled it out to people. People got upset, right? But they're like, hey, we're out of the game anyway. I don't care, right? Like we're going back down to Russia. In Mother Russia, installed for you. You know what I mean? So, but Chris, what's your thoughts on this, man?
I mean, so first thoughts, like I did some digging, right? Who is Ultra AV? What are their products, right? I went to their website. I went to the frequently asked questions, and of course, naturally, they've got a bunch of stuff on the Kaspersky transition. right? But here is kind of their verbiage for they have different actions for Windows users and Mac and Android users. Windows users, they say no actions required. By mid-September, you will have access to Ultra AV and Ultra VPN on your Windows desktop. So again, no warning, no action required, right? They're not saying, hey, no prompts are going to be installed, no prompts of, or any forewarning that this is going to happen. But they did say that everybody was notified at the beginning, starting September 5th, right? They're sending, Kaspersky was sending these to all the valid email addresses. So just did some more random digging on, hey, where's you Ultra AV based, right? Who owns them, right? Apparently, they are a US based company, right? That's not subject to any geographic restrictions. And their VPN offering is provided by a Panama based affiliate entity, which means Ultra VPN is outside of the Five Eyes and 14 Eyes alliance, ensuring the highest level of privacy and security for our customers, right? Very, very interesting. But it is a US based company. And then the parent company of this is the Pango Group. I think Shannon did mention that earlier. Pango Group has a whole host of they've got a bunch of VPNs, they've got a bunch of like BetterNet's part of it. Again, I don't know a lot of these products. I don't have a lot of experience with them, but they seem to have a fairly decent reach. My big question, my kind of first thoughts are, what's left of the Kaspersky on these computers, right? Did Kaspersky decide to install some backend with Ultra AV? And also, what is the development process like for ensuring Ultra AV meets the Kaspersky level of protection, right? So they've got some type of agreement, right? So I'm guessing on the business end, they've got some kind of value added. Hey, we're giving you these 3 million users. We're getting a cut. And that's how it's going to be. It's a partnership, right? So I just want to know what that looks like. That's not very clear. What is Kaspersky's involvement with Ultra AV? Do their SOC teams or whatever their security teams, do they communicate with each other for viruses, things like that? So I don't know. There's too many questions for me to understand what's going on with Ultra AV. It's just a mystery to me. And also, there's not a lot of reviews out there on Ultra AV, right? There's not a lot of there's not a lot of information out there versus the Defenders or all the other bigger brands, Norton, whatever. But there's not a lot of information out there. So to me, it's almost like a wait and see. Hey, what's Ultra AV going to look like 2 years from now? Oh, big breach from Ultra AV. Looks like Russian government had some involvement installing rootkits utilizing Ultra AV. That's what I'm predicting 2-3 years from now or whatever. Really, a lot of it's a mystery to me. My thoughts are, hey, well, I guess we'll just wait and see, and hopefully they'll provide more content here in the next few years.
They're gonna be like, it was there all along.
Yeah,
like we told you.
We talked about this all the way back in September 29th, 2024, guys.
And that's how it's gonna be. And Russia antivirus installs you.
Exactly. But yeah, Daniel, what are your thoughts, man?
What's the meme where it's like one guy and he takes a mask off and it's just him again? That's
or what is it? The Scooby Doo meme where it's got the taking off the mask. Yeah.
So that's the vibes I'm getting from Ultra AV. I just feel like it's another somewhere down the line we're gonna find out it's just Kaspersky again, and they funneled everything over to that company for themselves. Like you said, there's not a lot of information out there. I don't know. Shannon, you said it best in the last episode. Sometimes you get what you're paying for, and if you're not paying for anything, sometimes you're not getting good protection. And what you're actually getting is a liability. So in my mind, I'm like, to the users, I'm like, maybe, get a big boy, like an adult antivirus, like Bitdefender or something that's actually like improving and it's like leading the industry in the US and that's like reliable. That's what I use. I like Bitdefender a lot. I trust them a lot. The only times I could find out, and it alludes to in the article, is that Ultra AV's VPN solution is actually from Kaspersky. It's the same VPN solution. They acquired it from Kaspersky themselves, and then they're using it. So there seems to be like ties in there that are already the breadcrumbs are being laid out already. They're very easy. It's easy Scooby-Doo could follow them and find out who the bad guy is. So we'll see how this unfolds. I kind of want to side with the users being upset, but at the same time, I don't really know how because it doesn't say in the article, and I couldn't find it through my digging in Google World. Like, how is this Ultra AV automatically getting on the people's system? Is it like people not uninstalling Kaspersky and then all of a sudden they have Ultra AV? Because if that's the case, then it's on your fault. Like, you need to uninstall that crap and get something that's more reliable. Now, if it's like Shannon saying, but
go ahead, Daniel. Go ahead.
Like, now if it's the users uninstalling it, and like we were alluding to in the beginning, we were talking where that stuff is just staying in your systems and you can't get rid of it, and there's some like something in the registry or some IT and cyber trickery that's there that's allowing Ultra AV to get installed in, then that's unsat. And I don't know who would step in at that point, but there might need to be some kind of remediation from the government or something like that if that's what's going on. But if it's just user negligence, I mean, I want to feel upset for them, but I really can't at that point. It's more of the normal cyber grooming that we talk about in this program a lot, kind of telling the people that are in your life and that you don't want them to get owned. Hey, you really need to be paying attention to these things. You need to be listening to this podcast called The Other Side of the Firewall. They got some really, really cutting edge and smart guys out there that talk about these things. And they stay on top of the know-how so you don't get tricked by Ultra AV pulling the mask off and just being Kaspersky at the end of the day.
And it's funny you bring that up, because in the article they were talking about somebody that had moved on, and then this happened again, and I was like, well, wait a minute. If you moved on, that means your uninstall wasn't complete, right? Like there was something on there that they were able to do it somehow, or you clicked on something you should not have, or you know what I mean? Like
the article says that out of the 3 people I talked to, one guy was like, yeah, I moved on to another thing, but the other people were like, I didn't know, I didn't read that email. I was like, come on, man. Like, help yourself. Like, I'm trying to say your side here, but I'm reading the comments and I'm like, it's their own fault. It's their own fault.
Again, that's assuming everybody looks at their emails, right? Like, so I'm waiting. Yeah. I'm waiting for the day my wife comes to me like, "Hey, this is on my phone." Blah blah blah. I was like, "What did you click on or not click on?" Let's look at how did this happen? Because if any of that happened, like it would have been something that I did, and I'm like, I know I didn't do that. You know what I mean? Like I'm the cybersecurity guy here. Like I'll make sure none of this stuff ends up on our devices, right? So yeah, it's crazy, man. It's just wild out. Pay attention to your emails, though, folks. Like people,
for sure.
Because here's the thing: for these companies, if you try to take them to court, they're going to be like, they were notified. We sent it to the email address that they registered with. If they didn't update it, if they switched to a different one, that's on them. They're not going to do this big, huge public campaign, especially for something like this, right? Like when they were pretty much kicked out of operating in the U.S., right? Like they're not going to go out and spend all this money in a market that they're no longer going to be profiting in, right? So we think, great, who knows what's really happening here with this Ultra AV. I'm with you guys on that, right? But yeah, just pay attention to what's going on, folks. Like maybe they should have put it they made the subject line like free money or something like that. Then people would have opened it right up. You know what I mean? Oh, free money? Oh, let me see what this is. Kaspersky, you got me. You know what I mean? I'm already here now. I might as well.
Got him.
Got him.
Yeah. Free money.
Yeah, that's how people get got, right? Like those are the ones I delete. I'm like, how did you not make it to the spam folder? How did you not make it to the junk email? Like, come on, get out of here. Like, you will be now. Move to junk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no, this is a good article. But let's go ahead and wrap it up, fellas. So look, hit up all the social media platforms that go by the podcast name, The Other Side of the Firewall, The Other Side of the FW. Check out ramcyber.io, right? ramcyber.io, which is going to be the landing page where everything is going to eventually be tied in, right? So everybody remember, like, share, subscribe, all right? Whatever it is, hit the bell, the button, whatever it may need to be, so you can see our beautiful faces every week, right? And we make sure we got something for you every day of the week, right? So like, come support us, come support the podcast. We're out here to help you, you know what I mean? But check out Ryan on all the socials, right? He goes by Rai Security Guy, right? You can find him out on everything. Like every time he mentions the list, I'm like, man, I didn't even know there was that many social media platforms out there because I'm not on them. You know, but Daniel, where can they find you?
On LinkedIn under my name, Daniel Acevedo.
All right, and Chris, what about you?
You can find me on LinkedIn under my name, Chris Abacon, spelled A Bacon.
There it is, everybody. All right, stay safe, stay secure.